Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. And welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a show preview of Progress Wrestling's Chapter 181, Far From Ordinary People. Coming to you from Manchester at the O2 Ritz, starting at 3 PM on June 29th, 2025. I am DpuizY, as always, but I could not do this alone. I am joined by the one, the only, none other than Mojo! Mojo, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back on the show finally. I've been wanting to do one of these videos for quite some time. So, I feel like I've missed a lot.
That's the first aspect. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of things behind the scenes, a lot of
Yeah.
things in motion that I can't say too much on at the moment. But
Yeah, well, it's good to be back, and what better way to be back to with Progress Wrestling, right? I mean, one of
exactly,
the biggest show that I've ever been to, I feel like. Biggest wrestling show I've ever been to in person, so.
yeah, that's absolutely fair.
Mm.
And I don't know too much about the venue itself, the O2 Ritz, but I believe it's a similar sort of vibe to the Electric Ballroom in London. So it probably houses about 300 to 500 people, something like that. I think.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of these kind of O2 event buildings up north and I guess all over the country, because I know some other places have O2 sponsored venues. So it's probably a similar kind of thing to a lot of the I guess event venues in the UK.
hmm I believe this is a sort of a theatre type building, as opposed to like the O2 academies that you might see around the
Yeah,
UK, which I believe those are like music venues and stuff. Whereas this is like, I believe, a theatrical cinematic sort of venue.
yeah. I mean,
I think.
I don't know anything about the building, to be honest. I've never been to Manchester. This is first time for everything, so
Absolutely, it's absolutely my first time too going to Manchester. Uh, for those who have not worked it out, we are indeed going together.
yeah. I have to leave at about 6 in the morning, but
It's worth it,
uh,
Mojo.
worth it for some great wrestling.
Absolutely, great wrestling that goes by the name of Chapter 181, Far From Ordinary People, Progress Wrestling, Manchester, O2 Ritz. You can get your tickets still on at Dice FM. Progress Wrestling. Just put the name in the search bar, you'll find it, and the show is right there for Manchester. You'll see like the sign work, like the spray painted name and stuff like that, and that'll be the show for Manchester basically. To which you
Yeah,
can buy
it's
tickets.
also
Hang on.
you can view it online on the day on I guess Demand Progress and is it Triller?
Triller TV, yes.
Triller TV, yes. So you can watch it if you can't get to the venue, you can watch it on both of those sites or apps as well.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely, and of course, not this time in particular, but I normally do tend to stream or live watch the progress shows on Twitch. So if you can't make it and you feel like watching it, but not by yourself, then by all means come over to the Twitch and not for this show, but for future shows going forward after this one that I'm not attending.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I should be live
you
streaming
might
them.
not be able to attend.
Yeah, if you can't attend it, come chat with me. We can chat wrestling, we chat other things while the show is ongoing.
Yeah,
But we are here, of course, to discuss Chapter 181, Far From Ordinary People in Manchester, for Progress Wrestling. Should we get this show on the road?
yeah, we should. I mean, there's 7 matches to get through, at least 7 announced matches. There might be some more that might be announced in the future, but this is just what we've got from the website and I guess from press releases or stuff so far.
Yeah, absolutely. There could well be another match on the way because I believe last and previous shows have had like 8 matches, I think it is, or 9 matches in some cases. So at the moment we're 7, which is a bit low, but it's not a London show, and they tend to sort of put more matches on the London shows. For
Yeah,
reasons I don't know, but whatever. It's whatever. So much is still. It's a fantastic card. Let's get into it. So we're kicking things off with a fatal 4-way match between the following: Jack Morris, Ethan Allen, Charles Crowley, and the former Proteus champion Simon Miller. There we go.
yeah. I
This.
mean,
Oh, so go ahead.
I was gonna say watching the I will preface this by saying I'm still pretty new to watching Progress Wrestling and things like that. I've only recently gotten into it in the last few months. I'll be totally honest, but I've always been keeping up to date with it.
Mm.
Just never really had the time to watch. But watching the Vegas show where they had the multi-man match where Simon lost the title, even the multi-man matches, they are a lot of fun. So I feel like this will be a really fun match.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say it's more like to me anyway. This is more like a chaotic sort of everything goes sort of match where anyone goes for anyone. The rules are broken because there's no DQ in a fatal four way, and I feel like with these four in particular, there's a lot of room for chaos here. You've got Charles Crowley, who we all know as the mischievous, sort of bamboozling, spectacular twat. Like
Bit weird, bit of a weird guy.
By the way, that is what his name is. For those who aren't aware, he does call himself the twat. He's a spectacular twat. So that is not me calling him a twat. That is me just saying what his moniker is in wrestling.
Yeah.
However, of course, Crowley came out on the last show during Super Strong Style because he wanted to be a part of that, and basically said he couldn't wrestle because he wasn't cleared to. But fast forward a month, we're here. We're at this Fatal 4-Way. And he's been announced for it. He's seemingly cleared for it. So he's got a point to prove. That's what I think. And we're looking to make that at the expense of Miller, Allen, and Morris. But
Yeah, it's definitely.
So go ahead.
I was saying it's definitely kind of a clash of styles. There's so many different kind of styles you get in this match. Like obviously Simon Miller's powerhouse. Charles Crowley is Charles Crowley. You've no idea what he's going to bring to the match. And I feel like it'll be a good combination of like many different kinds of wrestling. As much as it'll probably still just be utter chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. But also to go into what you said about the clashing styles, we've got Crowley who has his own style. We have Simon Miller who is tough as nails, but he's someone who the crowd love, who crowd can get behind. In the same way as Crowley, but Miller sort of thrives off the crowd, whereas Crowley sort of lives off it. If that makes sense.
I think so.
We have, of course, Jack Morris as well, who has come in from Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. He is the export, I guess, of Japan in the show. His offense is very much Puro based, mixed in with his roots in Scottish wrestling as well. He is a phenomenal wrestler, and he looks phenomenal. But you'll see what I mean when you see him. But like, there's very few people who you could say have like a perfect sort of sculpted body, and Morris is one of those guys. Like, and in fact, he was part of a faction called Good Looking Guys in Noah. So that tells you what we need to know, really. But no, John Morris is again just a fantastic wrestler, and he'll have so much to add to this four-way. And the final part of this equation, Ethan Allen, who is the other half of the Young Guns, along with Luke Jacobs. They more recently split, not officially split, but because Luke Jacobs became world champion, Ethan's been sort of left in the sort of sideway because two men can't be champion. So Ethan's gone on his own sort of route here in a singles route, and he's going on his own path to show to people, especially in Progress Wrestling and the audiences, that he can be his own guy, and he brings a level of technical and brutal offense that I honestly would say the other three don't bring. And
I'd say he doesn't want to be left behind by I guess his tag team partner, so he wants to I guess prove that he can be as good as the current champ is. So this be a good opportunity. And
yeah, absolutely. I think while Ethan might not feel that way, I do believe there's an element where the crowds and the audiences could perceive that to be the case. because you're the lesser guy because you're not the world champion like your partner is. So yeah, I fully get that, and Ethan will be looking to make a name for himself at the expense of these three, because there's far more at stake here than just personal, wins and losses. For Ethan, it's a matter of pride. For Charles, it's a matter of redemption. For Miller, it's a case of building his way back up to the Proteus title. And for Morris, same thing as Ethan, really, making a name for himself, and also representing Noah in Japan as well.
Yeah, I don't think Noah would be very happy if he put in a bad performance in a different company that he's been sent to.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know how it works, but I don't know how any of that works.
John Morris, of course, the proud representative for Pro Wrestling Noah over in Japan, export from Japan. Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yes.
John Morris. But yeah, we will not be doing predictions for this because that's something that I've sort of felt the need to sort of move on from. Predictions are fun for a little bit, but then they get a little bit sort of like people sort of start thinking that like you're part of it all if you get things right, which is what I was kind of doing, and I was getting like people talking to me in real life saying like, "Oh, how do you know who's gonna win?" And it's like, "Oh, are you involved in said companies and stuff?" And it's like, "Well, no, I'm lucky, I guess." But
lucky guess.
Yeah. But basically, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I will not be predicting shows.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I probably won't be either, just because like I say, I'm still new to all this progress stuff, so I don't know enough about everyone to do a educated prediction on things.
That's honestly fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So, from that then, we will move on to the first single match of the night that we're covering. It is Alexis Falcon taking on the debuting Holly Barlow. No relation to Gary Barlow. I don't think, anyway. So,
you never know.
Alexis Falcon, who has been a staple of Progress Wrestling for the last few years, having, of course, the Clock Strike Midnight match as well with Nina Samuels. I believe that was last year, which was a phenomenal sort of no holds barred hardcore match. Of course, 76 was when she debuted in Manchester. She lost to Lana Austin. And, of course, Holly here is also here on her debut in Manchester and also in Progress. Looking to get a win at the expense of a name like Alexis Falcon.
Yeah, I feel like this will be, once again, quite a good match, because it's more of a, will Holly be able to, on her debut, be able to impress over the, I guess, you'd say a Progress veteran at this point, even though it's only been a few years, but compared to Barlow, she is the veteran in this match.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Barlow can do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I fully agree with that. But yeah, like I said, it'll be just interesting to see what both women are willing to do to pick up the win. And yeah, with that in mind, I really got much else to add. I'll be completely honest as well. It's my first time seeing Holly Barlow. I know the name through passing and her vignettes with Lana Austin, but other than that, I don't know much about her. So that is just what I can say, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this match because the other two women's matches that we'll get to later is more of, I guess, a rivalry, but this could be more of a, I guess, it could be more of like a showcase.
Absolutely.
To see what both these girls can do, instead of later on in the show where it's two people that have to win. They have to go as hard. I know everyone needs to win, but the two women later in the show have to win their matches, whereas this, even if they don't win, if they can put in a good show in, it'll be maybe more for the future for either of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, but as well, like
yeah,
in Falcon's case, it would be a rise to get back to the women's world title. In Barlow's case, a chance to make a name for herself, at the expense of what we're calling a veteran in Alexis Falcon. So, with that in mind, we'll go on to the next match, which is another singles match between the returning Chris Ridgway and the winner of Super Strong Style 16 to 25, Man Like DeReiss. It's been 3 years since Ridgway was last in Progress, and that's that's a long time to be away from a company to sort of be back and among the crowds or for the fans. And I don't know. What do you think about this match going into it?
well, I think it'll be a good match. Obviously, Man like DeReiss after he won the strong style, he'll want to keep the momentum going and I guess put in a really good showing against Ridgway, who I mean, since he's been away for a few years, he'll definitely want to impress tonight. Tonight, you know what I mean, on the show night.
Tonight, right now. No.
Yeah, right now, no.
But yeah, I mean, you say that. Ridgway's last show with Progress, last appearance, I should say, with Progress, was back in 2022 in August when he lost the world title to Big Damo. So for him, it's a case of, assumably anyway, building back to where he was. But you can't ignore also what he brings to the table as just a wrestler or an athlete himself. In that,
Yeah, he's a very, very good wrestler.
yeah,
I guess both of these men are really, really good.
Absolutely. Ridgway brings a level of intensity that you don't really see anywhere else. His kicks, I imagine, could shatter your spine.
What?
It's a level of intensity, a level of aggressiveness, a level of just I do not care about what I do to you because I'm gonna win, and I'll do what I've got to do to win.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy that would just do whatever it takes. Maybe bend the rules a bit, maybe anything like that. But DeReiss is definitely going to be the fan favorite in this one.
Absolutely,
I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
As much as Ridgway's returning after 3 years, I feel like DeReiss will still be the one that everyone wants to win this match.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's
because he is the I feel like he is one of the fan favorites in the company.
Yeah, he absolutely
or
is.
At least, yeah, definitely is.
Yeah. As we already alluded to, Man Like DeReiss won the Super Strong Style 16 tournament. He came out on top over people that we already mentioned, like Ethan Allen. He beat Masakita Miya from Pro Wrestling Noah, Charlie Sterling in the semi-finals, and then finally Leon Slater from TNA Wrestling in the final. And now he's got a guaranteed future shot at the men's world title in Progress. Whenever that will come, we don't know. But it's there, it's locked in for him. I believe the management choose when that happens, rather than he picks it, but I could be wrong on that, so correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not certain on that. But to go through that level of competition and essentially put out the statement that I want to beat former top guys of the company. He's called himself the new gold standard of Progress, has DeReiss. And with credentials like winning Superstar Star 16, it's hard to ignore that. He's a multi-time champion elsewhere, singles and tags. It's just Progress that he's not really had a chance to grit his teeth. And he finally did it last month by winning perhaps the most prestigious British tournament that exists.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, he's definitely got to put his money where his mouth is now. Now that he's won Super Strong Style, he needs to keep proving to everyone that. Well, I feel like he wants to prove to everyone that obviously that wasn't a fluke as well. As much as he won 4 matches,
Yeah,
he'll want to keep the momentum going. Like I was saying earlier, he want to prove that he can be the champ in progress.
yeah,
And what better way to do that beating beating Ridgeway in his return match?
yeah. So we've got a case here of DeReese wanting to put out old flames and Ridgeway wanting to reignite the flames. So definitely one to keep your eye on, definitely one that you want to check out, whether it's in person or online at Pros On Demand or at Twitter TV or buy a ticket from Dice FM.
Yeah, that would be a really, really good match, I'm sure.
So now we move on to a very interesting affair here, as we have the Pick Your Poison match, or matches, I should say, between Kanji and Nina Samuels. Now, these two are settling their score, you could say, in a loser leads progress match. That's
at the next show.
Yes.
Yeah, next month.
Next month at Chapter 182, Stay Humble in London, Camden, at the Ballroom. However, before we get there, we got this show. And Pick Your Poison, historically and here, is both competitors or contestants pick opponents for the other to face in assumably an attempt to weaken the other before, the big match. But saying that, these are two big matches in their own right as well. So we'll look first at the match for Kanji. So her opponent was handpicked by Nina Samuels, and Nina Samuels has chosen Lana Austin. This is a great strategy from Nina to call back someone from Kanji's history. This is a rivalry that spans back like 3 years ago, like between Kanji and Lana, when Lana dethroned Kanji at Chapter 146. I think it's all over in what was perhaps the most shocking moment of that show. Because I was in attendance at that show, so you can actually watch the review of that on the channel. Link in the bottom.
Fair enough.
Lana winning that title was, I think, on no one's bingo card, especially in the ballroom itself. And when she won, there was a moment of just stunned silence. And
yeah, I think since then, hasn't she beaten Kanji pretty much every time? The face off, haven't they?
More or less, but that's not really in progress.
Fair. Just in general, that's
yeah. So this is a long-term rivalry getting sort of pushed once again. It's getting reignited because of Nina Samuels and her little hat. But I love it, and it's clearly a strategy by Nina to weaken Kanji from someone who knows Kanji, someone who knows Kanji's weaknesses and knows how to beat Kanji.
Yeah, because if you want someone to win a match against your rival, obviously you'd pick the person that's faced them the most and beaten them the most. It just seems the most logical choice of an opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really looking forward to this match. This is the first time I'm seeing Lana Austin wrestle in person, so it'll be quite good to see, I guess, up close and personal, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I feel like this could be one of the good. Well, I say they're all gonna be good matches, but this is probably gonna be up there on the show.
Oh yeah, I fully agree with that. I have Kanji regularly in my top 10 lists, regardless of gender.
Just top 10 wrestlers.
Yeah, like Kanji is so good, and I'm not crediting Lana at all here. It's just that I've seen more of Kanji matches than I have Lana matches, and that's simply all that is to me. But
fair enough.
Yeah, this is a rivalry renewed. The flames battle have once again been stoked between these two, and it's sure to be an amazing match between the pair of them.
It'd be quite a heated match.
Yeah,
I would assume.
absolutely. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and move on forward to the other half of the Pick Poison matches, where we see Nina Samuels and her hat taking on Kanji's choice of opponent, as she takes on the should I say returning? I don't know if I should say returning or not.
I
Returning
think it's
to
her
the,
Progress debut.
yeah, returning to the UK. Since 2018, it's Shotzi Blackheart, who, was mysteriously, off our screens for a few years, but she's back. And she is back in the UK. She's back in BritWres. I should say, she's not based in BritWres. She's an American wrestler. But she's back in BritWres. Don't know how long for, but she's here, and she's fighting Nina Samuels at the request of Kanji. And I cannot wait for this match.
Yeah, this is going to be good. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Nina Samuels, and obviously Shotzi's probably one of my favorite wrestlers when she was away mysteriously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think this will be a really good match.
Yeah,
I know I've said that about every match, but this match will be it could be really good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing Nina Samuels for the first time.
Yeah,
and I guess seeing Shotzi for the first time in a while.
Because
Yes.
she was gone mysteriously for a few years, so who knows where she went. So yeah, these two are going to have an amazing match, and of course, Nina's going to have her work cut out for her here, because she's set an opponent for Kanji that Lana knows Kanji's weaknesses. But to that same level, Kanji knows Lana's weaknesses.
Yeah.
Nina probably knows next to nothing about Shotzi. I mean, I know they fought once before, but that was years ago.
Yeah, they're two probably different wrestlers.
Exactly.
Obviously more experience over all those years. So
Is there more
any
threats?
weaknesses they had years ago, they might not have anymore.
Exactly.
So,
is there more risk for Nina fighting someone who's effectively unknown to her now, or is there more risk to Kanji fighting someone who she does know and who has beaten her?
and obviously with Shotzi, it's her first time back in the UK for years. She's gonna have a massive chip on her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
She'll will do well.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling she will. She'll do well, and it'll be a good match, like I was saying earlier. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she did win this match. I'm not saying that's my prediction for anything, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'd love to see more of Shotzi in the UK. So hopefully, if all things go well, we get to see more of her.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to think a win here would assumably get Shotzi's sort of stature up in management's eyes to perhaps point her towards the world title.
Yeah.
Like a win,
or even just point her towards getting more matches.
Yeah, exactly. A win over someone like Nina Samuels is big. Like Nina is a staple of Progress and probably one of the most well-known names in British wrestling. Like you ask someone about Brit Wrest, they'll probably say Nina Samuels.
Yeah, even me that's new to a lot of the indie stuff in the UK, she is someone that I've known about for, I guess, multiple years at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's probably one of the first. Well, she's probably like the first women's wrestler. If you ask me to name an independent wrestler in the UK, I'll say independent. But
Yeah. I know what you mean. So, moving on from that, we go to a tag team match. As we have a match for the Progress Tag Team Championships. taking place between the challengers, Lycos Jim, Kid Lycos 1 and Kid Lycos 2, against the champions, Dairy Free Bruce Lee, Chuck Mambo, and the Headbutt Messiah, TK Cooper, Sunshine Machine. Now, Mojo, what do you know about these two teams?
I saw the Lycos Gym, I think either at the previous show or in the I think it was the Vegas show, and they really impressed me in that match. I thought they were really good. I think they won on that show. Yeah, they definitely did win on that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Sunset Machine, I don't really know a whole lot about, I'll be totally honest.
Ah, well, Mojo.
I love the name.
Mojo. You could not be talking to one of the most qualified people to talk about Sunshine Machine. I have regular discussions with Cooper. So...
Oh, God. Is this one of those things where they talk to you at every show because you're all used to go to every single one?
More or less, yeah. But
yeah,
we talk a lot more online now. But
okay,
yeah, enough of that. We're not here to discuss that. We're here to discuss the match itself. So Sunshine Machine, TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo won the title at Chapter 178 Fix Your Hearts, and this is not their first reign with the tag titles. Like, they are tag team specialists. They won the titles a number of times. They've got the record, I believe it is, for most amount of consecutive days holding those titles. They've held these titles along with other tag titles simultaneously. I believe they have the record for the most amount of days as champions and also the most amount of reigns as champion. I think.
Okay.
That
is pretty impressive.
They are truly a historic team when it comes to Brit Wres, which is ironic because one of them is not even British. In Cooper, he's from New Zealand, so. But of course, TK Cooper and Mambo have both been parts of Progress for donkeys. Like, but even before they were a team, they were both different guys. Like, Mambo was part of a different faction before Pandemic era. Cooper was part of a different faction as well, pre-Pandemic era. And then they formed as the Sunshine Machine during the pandemic times of Progress Wrestling when there was no fans and they taped all the shows. One of the most decorated tag teams in British wrestling, as they win tag titles basically all over Europe. They won, I believe they won titles in Italy, titles in Germany, titles in, I want to say France, but I could be wrong on that. So yeah, essentially one of the most decorated tag teams in British wrestling as we, live and breathe. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, we see Lycos Jim. Lycos 1 and Lycos 2. Kid Lycos 1 and Kid Lycos 2. One wears a mask, one doesn't. They both used to wear masks back in the day. But Lycos 1 lost his mask to Spike Trevay at some point last year.
I remember that. I remember seeing a few clips of that online as well. So
yeah. I mean, there's a whole sort of saga of matches between Lycos 1 and Spike Trevay, which led to Lycos winning the world title, which he would then lose in dominant fashion to Luke Jacobs. But we'll get to him. Kid Lycos 1 and Kid Lycos 2 have been a thorn in the side of Sunshine Machine for as long as I can remember. These two, when you think about a tag team rivalry in Progress, if you think from like post-pandemic or even like during the pandemic era to now, your mind would most likely and probably should go to Sunshine Machine versus Lycos Gym, because these two teams have had so many matches over the years, and these two teams know each other inside and out. It should be said as well that Lycos 1 and Lycos 2 attitudes have changed over the years, whereas Sunshine Machine have also just been fan favourites the entire time.
Okay.
So there you go.
I was saying I feel like by the sounds of it, this will be a really good match. I do love tag team wrestling. It's probably one of my favourite things in wrestling. So I always love it when there's a good tag match on a show. I feel like this is definitely going to be, I guess, up there with tag matches that I've seen.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, I feel like, I mean, once again, it's a very long, heated rivalry by the sounds of things.
Hmm.
And I'm looking forward to seeing, I guess, the next chapter. Maybe we'll see what happens next. Will Lycos Jim win the titles
Yeah,
and then have to go on to other things, or
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's worth mentioning too that Lacos Gym have already been champions once, and that
Hmm.
time as champions was during the pandemic era of again taped shows, no live audiences.
So I guess if they do win, this will be the first time that we've seen them in person as the tag champs. Is
Yes,
I'm guessing what you're saying.
because
If they do win,
they won titles during pandemic and they lost titles during pandemic. Um,
it's unfortunate.
so it happens, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Um, but yeah, they had an amazing no ropes I quit match with Conor Mills and Nico Angelo in an I quit no ropes I quit match. Um, I'd suggest go watch that if you can. Chapter 178 again. Amazing match. I probably won my match of the night from chapter 178. In all honesty. However, this match here is a callback again, like Kanji and Lana. It's a callback to an old rivalry in progress, being reignited for one night only, potentially more. We don't know, but Sunshine Machine have said they do not intend to lose on their first defense. Strong words.
Right.
With that in mind, we'll go on to the final match, at least the last one announced anyway, for the Progress Men's World Championship, a match
Yes.
that I believe that you're looking forward to, Mojo.
Yes. I'm so happy I get to see Cara Noir in person. He's he's up there with one of my favorite wrestlers in at least in the UK scene.
Mm-hmm.
He's up there with my favorite wrestlers. And when we watched the Strong Style match at Strong Style last month, I felt like this match was so good.
Yeah.
And this is a rematch going into this show. I think Jacobs won after Noir had his submission move locked in, and Jacobs rolled through and kind of passed out on top of Noir to retain the title.
Good memory. Very good memory. That is exactly how that match ended. In a match that Luke Jacobs has gone on to say that he felt it was an embarrassing title defense. And he wants to redeem himself, essentially, and redeem his title reign by, properly beating Cara Noir. And of course, for those who don't realize, this is of course Luke Jacobs and Cara Noir for the world title.
Yes.
A match between the current world champion, who is, I believe, about 160 days, or something like that, as champion, taking on potentially the greatest champion in Progress history in Cara Noir, who holds the record for the longest recorded time of a single reign at 791 days, which is, if you do the math, it's over 2 years as champion.
Yeah.
It's about 2 years, I think.
It is
2 months?
maybe just under 2 years.
It's under 2 years.
Yeah, because it'll be. I'm going to do the maths quick.
730.
730 is 2 years.
Yeah, so 791. So yeah, 2 years, 2 months.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 19 for some reason.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah. So 2 years, 2 months as champion, 17 defenses. He has taken on all comers, all shapes and sizes, and he came out on top. Eventually losing the title to Pat Gervais in, again, historic rivalry in Progress history. Of course, Cara Noir is not the same Cara Noir that we were used to, because he did suffer a foot injury, I believe 2 years ago, 1 year ago, in a cage match basically against Spike Gervais. And he was out for a bit, came back, and he's now this newer, refreshed version of Kyle Noir that isn't necessarily the same version that we're so used to seeing. With that in mind, of course, this is the version that we did see at Vegas, the version that we did see almost choke out. No, sorry, did choke out Luke Jacobs to the point where he had passed out. And the dead weight just pinned him.
it was quite an embarrassing way to win, I would say. It did feel weird seeing the champion who retained passed out on the floor whilst the challenger just stood above him.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this show will get more of a definitive, I guess, maybe a definitive end to this rivalry. Maybe it will continue depending on what happens, but hopefully we'll get more of a definitive finish.
Absolutely.
In this one.
As well, you've got to think Man at Darius is hanging around. Like, he has that guaranteed shot. And we could be facing one of these two men at some point in the near future.
Just thinking, if you had to pick between the two of them, if you were Man like Darius, which one would you prefer to face?
I would go after Porterhauser for the Proteus title.
God damn it! No, I mean out of the two in this match, Jacobs or Noir, who would you pick? If you had to,
it's a very tough call to make because they're both brutal, they're both aggressive, they're both ruthless. However, Kyle Noir wrestles without shoes, so I think if I kept just stomping at the foot, it might. Maybe, I don't know.
Especially the previously injured foot as well.
Maybe, but of course in the realism they both kick my ass.
Yes, I was just saying if you were Man like Darius.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Which one do you think he would pick? Out of the two, he would prefer.
If it was me.
No, yeah, fair enough. But like,
if I'm Man like Darius, I think I want to go for the more honourable sort of person here, and that would be, I guess, Luke Jacobs, purely because of their connection. Of course, Jacobs is from Manchester, Darius is from Birmingham, different areas, but they're still in that Midlandsy area of the UK, kind of.
I mean, we're from London. Anywhere we don't know where the Midlands or the North starts.
It's everywhere north is just the north.
Yeah.
I've angered so many people from the north by saying that.
And the Midlands.
What is the UK? It's just London and other parts.
Yeah.
No. Of course, this is going to be an amazing match. A reprisal of the match in Vegas, and also the matches that they've had over the years. Like, these two have fought multiple times for the world title. Like when Kyle was champion, he defended against Luke Jacobs. And of course,
has Jacobs ever defeated Kyle Noir in a title match?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Vegas.
I was just trying to think. Then has he ever? Oh yeah, it was at Vegas, wasn't it? I think I had to go to work before that was on, so I didn't see that one.
Sorry, not Vegas. That was I can't remember off the top of my head. It was recent though.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Noir fought Suzuki.
Sorry, apart from the falling off apart from the choke one, has he won legitimately? That's what I meant. I love that I literally just said he won, and then we're like, has he ever won? No, I mean, has he ever won without passing out?
I don't. That's a bad statement. I'll click that and send to Luke Jacobs to see what he says. Has he ever won without being choked out?
Wow.
No. I don't think he has. In the context of him and Kyle Noir, I don't think he has beaten him. Legitimately.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be a fantastic match. This whole card is going to be fantastic, which again, you can buy tickets for at Dice FM. You can also watch it online at Progress On Demand and Triller TV Plus. It's one of those two. It's on Triller TV. Watch it live. Watch it on demand when it comes out on demand as well. it'll be a show you do not want to miss. So if you can be
Yeah,
there,
this is some
be there.
it's some of the best wrestlers from Britain and I guess from abroad in one place for I guess one night. So especially if you're in the Manchester area and don't usually get down for the London shows because it is a bit of a trek. It's about a 4-hour, 5-hour train ride.
Yes.
So
It's very expensive train ride.
yes, but especially if you're in the Manchester area and you haven't been able to see Progress in person, or you should definitely, if you're able to, you should go to this show
Absolutely.
because it'll definitely be probably one of the best wrestling shows that you'll see in the UK this year, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say like this card, like off name alone, like
Yes.
this is potential to be one of the best shows of the year. Like this is, far from your ordinary card at Manchester.
I see what you did there.
I know, right? But that does bring an end to this preview. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you want to go watch it now. Hopefully you want to go buy a ticket at Dice FM, which you can do still. Tickets are still available. Not the front row, I don't believe, but you can still get general admission tickets for the balcony or for one of the back rows to take a seat in, or just standing tickets. Completely up to you. Or if you can't make it to Manchester, as Mojo's already said here, you can watch it on Progress on Demand or watch it on Twitter TV live, and then I believe they release it on demand, like for VOD. I believe it's a week or week and a half after the event, which is a pretty good turnaround in all honesty.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you're subscribed to it, you can watch it then. Otherwise, watch it live. Get a ticket. Watch it on streaming services. Again, that's a favourite tickets and Progress on Demand and Twitter TV to watch it online. I have sunken, but that's fine. I have been Dan DpuizY. I have been joined by Mojo. Mojo, can people follow you online anywhere?
Yeah, you can follow me online. I'll probably send my link tree in the description because I've got too many social medias to name. But you can find me on Instagram definitely at TJ_Mitchell_PW, or just TJ Mitchell PW on Instagram. And yeah,
cool. You heard that first. Everything will be down below as well. Also, in regards to the video, please like it. Comment under the video. Say, what match are you looking forward to most? Like, let us know. Like, this is a banging card. Like, what match are you looking forward to most? Is it Luke and Kara? Is it the tag titles? Is it one of the DpuizY matches between Kanji and Lana, or Shotzi and Nina? Is it Harley Barlow and Alexis Falcon? Is it the Chaotic 4-Way? Or is it the return of former world champion Chris Ridgway as he takes on Man Like DeReiss, the current Superstar Star winner? Is it any of those? Is it a prediction match that has not been announced yet that you want to have a guess at or have a crack at? Otherwise, as I said already, please like, share, comment on the video. Everything, all engagement is appreciated, and goes a long way to supporting the goals of the channel and supporting me. So, every little thing is appreciated. Love you. But with that in mind, yeah, that's bring an end to it. I've been Dan DpuizY, this has been Mojo, and we will bid you adieu, and we'll see you in Manchester.